All right, guys, we're going to give you a few tips for your white belt, yellow belt sparring drill stripe, and also the green belt sparring drill stripe. For the white and yellows, it's going to be a 2-move combination working on the jab and also the reverse punch. Green belts, we're going to add the #1 front kick. So we're all going to work on the jab reverse together in class a lot. But green belts, when you work a test for your stripe, you'll have to show us a little more movement and also add the front kick. So a couple things. So anytime we're in our sparring stance, so whichever leg is in front. So right now, this is my left leg, so that would be a left sparring stance. And my hands are in guard. A couple things to think about. I don't want this hand to be behind me. I want it to be beside me. So a jab always means a punch with your front arm. Doesn't mean right or left. It just means front. So this is my left leg. So that makes this my jab hand. Now it's going to make this back hand the reverse punch hand. So jab. So a couple things to think about on jab. My front foot's always going to take a small step when I throw the jab and then come back. If I'm only throwing one move, that foot's going to come right back because nobody's ever going to stand close enough where you can just punch them in the head without stepping. If they do stand that close to you in sparring, just punch them in the head, but nobody's going to stand that close. So I got to think about working on covering a little bit of distance. So my front leg is going to take a small step. That hand jabs. My back hand stays up to protect my head and comes right back. So towards the camera, it looks like this. Front foot steps, punch, boom. My hand also rotates at the last section. What I don't want to do is pull my arm back and then punch. So I don't want to like wind up or telegraph where it's coming. I want it to go from here straight forward. Then the reverse punch. So if I'm adding the reverse punch, I still take the step here. And then on the reverse punch, a couple things have to happen. My back leg and hip is going to turn. The reverse punch should also reach farther. Most people would think the jab goes farther, but when I get to extend my hips, I can reach further with my back arm versus my front arm. So a reverse punch by itself would be a step, back foot, back hip turns, and reverse. So you hear the kids say jab, reverse. We've been having them say it. Kind of get used to knowing the difference between the two. So they'll say jab, reverse. And reverse is just short for a reverse punch. It's also called a cross in some styles as well. So at the camera, it looks like this. Front arm is a jab. Back arm is a reverse. So jab, reverse. Common problems when you reverse, don't let your hand come by your side or just drop. I want to come right back to guard where it started. So on the bag, it would look like this. I would go jab, reverse. Now in class, if you're wearing your striking gloves, you can hit it as hard as you want. If you're hitting in the air, obviously you can hit it as hard as you want. But if you have the bag, striking the bag, and you're not wearing the striking gloves, you may not want to hit it 100% full power until you kind of build up some good wrist strength. So one more time. So I got a jab on my front, back arm with the reverse. So you got to know it on both sides. So on the other side, my right leg is out. That's going to be a jab and then reverse. So jab, reverse, and the hand is not going, it's protecting. Now for the green belts, we're going to add a #1 front kick first. So we won't have to do the step. We can think about just landing a little closer. So if I started here for the front kick, when I land, I may be a little closer to him. So I'm kind of taking that step by hiding the step with the front kick. So I'm going to take my front leg, front kick, land a little closer than I started. Now I'm in range for the jab reverse. So if I punch him here, not quite in range. So my green belts are adding the #1 front kick, landing a little closer, which is that same thing as the step. We're just hiding the step with our kick. And then our back leg turns. Boom. Same thing other side. So front leg, front kick, jab, reverse. So towards this. So whichever leg is in front, front kick. Lands a little closer to them, jab, reverse. Nice. And now once you can show us the jab and the reverse, and it looks pretty sharp with your knees bent and your other hand in guard, that's how white and yellow belts are in your sparring drill stripe. Green belts, you got to show us that #1 front kick first. A couple things also for the green belts. Don't start with your feet too far apart. That's going to make that #1 front kick more difficult and slower. I want to have my feet close together. Most of my weight's on my back leg. My front leg should be able to lift quickly. If my feet are too far apart, it makes it really hard to lift that front leg up really fast. You can still lift it up, but it is going to be slower. Work on this in class and at home, and you should be able to test for your sparring drill stripe very soon. See you guys on the mat.